Okay. So if I create a cube here, polygon cube, I can of course shape this any way I like. Make this longer, thinner, higher, wider, and so forth. So perhaps this was one of these panels here, right? So I can just choose a size for these. So maybe say the height should be 6, and the depth or the width, in this case I'll just make it the width should be 8, and the depth should be maybe half or 5 or something like this. So this could be a wall. Turn on shading. If I then apply a material for this, just a blend, and add a color. Go to the folder over here. It's always difficult to find. There we go. Textures. And there's this one called wood plank. So if I grab that, you can see it looks not entirely right. And the reason for this is of course that our UV maps are made like this. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. I can either project this on, or I can change the way the UVs are created on the model. So if I put this somewhere so we can see everything. Yeah? You can see right now it's normalized collectively and preserve aspect ratio. So basically that means it's the UVs are applied and then it's fitted to the 0 to 1 area here. So if I do it with normalization off, it will just be one texture for each of the panels. So that's another option. And you can see that that works pretty well. The top and bottom is a little stupid, but other than that. And if I look at my reference image, I can see this has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, around 20 planks for one area, and this has like 10, so I need the double. To change that, I just go to the material, and if I go to the color section here, you can see we always have a place texture node. So if I click that, in here there's different settings. I can rotate the texture. I can actually rotate it in 2 different ways. But the more important one is that I can repeat it. So I repeat it twice in both directions, like so. So I actually get something that is similar to what we had in the image. It may be that the wall is slightly too thick, but I can always make it thinner, like so. Yeah, that's good. Then another thing I'd like to do through this is to add bump map. So if I go to my rendering hypershade and grab this, and then apply this to the bump map. I get that, and just set it to a low number, like so. And I should get something where you get the feeling that this is actually a wall. This is probably slightly too shiny, but you can just make it less shiny. Turn down the reflection as well. There we go. So we get a feeling that this is a set of planks. Then for the windows, now the windows in this image are quite nice. They have this curved area at the top, but first I'll just do a square window, and then we can look at how to do something like this. So I'll just create a cube. There we go. And then I can size this so that it has the size that I want my window. Like perhaps so. So this should be the window. Here it has to go through the model, so it has to be passing through. Then I select the piece I want to cut something from, and shift select the piece I want to cut with, and then I go to my polygons menu set and go mesh, booleans, and then this is called difference. You can see it will cut out that piece of geometry. Right. This is actually done with story on, so this cube here is actually still there. I can move it around, so I can change the position of it, and I get an error if it goes outside. So it doesn't like that. So we can place it anywhere we like when we've done this. Okay, so that's a fairly easy way to do a window. And they have these panels on, so I'll do something similar to that. I will create a cube. I could actually just have made a copy of the other one, but now I'll make a new one. Just make this slightly bigger than the hole. Oops. There we go. Something like that. If I just look at it from the front view and I put it to wireframe, I can see that it just needs to be moved. There, it's pretty good there. Something like that. Oh, there we go. And then I want this to be closer to the wall, like so. Right. I actually only need the front, but I'll do the back as well, just for fun. Okay. So I'll right click, go face, grab this one, and then shift select this one, because I want to do the same thing on the front and the back. Or alternatively, I could just delete the back because I don't need it. I'm not going to look at the house from the inside. That's one thing you should keep in mind when you're doing something. A lot of people, when they do 3D, they like to do everything perfect, so they do every bit and piece of detail. But if in the final product you won't see it, it's just exactly. So think about what you're doing, and if it's something that is 5 kilometers away, there's no idea in using 3 weeks modeling an airplane if you could just use a small plane with drawing of an airplane or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to extrude this, polygons, extrude, and I'm going to use these small things here. So I'm going to offset this in maybe like, oh, that was too much. That's good. Yep. And then I'm going to extrude again and then drag it in, just like so. And then I will just delete these polygons. So you can see I have this edge, here, and I have this edge here. So I click this one, double click it, and shift double click this one. So I have each set of edges, and then I go to edit mesh, bridge, and it will connect the two, in this case creating a nice vertigo effect. The bridge tool actually takes one set of edges and connects to another set of edges, and it's not always doing it the right way. Right now you can see it has 5 divisions in here, so I'll just leave this at a few divisions so you can see what's going on. And then it has something called offset. In this case I think I should set it to 3. No, that was wrong. 1, yeah, 1, and then it'll rotate, it'll offset how the one set of edges to the other set of edges. So if this is offset a certain amount, it will twist it. So it's the start. If you have the edges across, then if it starts and connects this to this, you'll get a warp. So when you do the offset, it will use this one instead. So I can just, usually this is just done by testing it, so typing in numbers. So in this case it needs to be 1, and then I should just set the divisions low. That's a little more technical than it had to be. We could also just have deleted the backside and we'd have no problems. So this way I created a nice little window panel, and maybe that should just be white. There we go. White, not a lot of shininess. So you can see it's fairly easy to create something that looks okay. So that's something like what we're seeing here. If I wanted to create something like the rounded window, I'll just move this to the side. So I'll do this, move this off to the side, there, and then I'll try to create the rounded window. Again, there's a couple of different ways to do that. I'll show you one. So I go to the front view, and then I'm going to use the Create Polygon tool. So I go to Mesh, Create Polygon. So when I have this tool open, I can just draw a polygon. So just go, for instance, I'll hold the X key to snap it here, and snap it there, and snap it there, and then I'll build a nice round thing here, and then X to snap it again, and then press enter to end. So that created one polygon, and then I can just go to the vertex section and then tweak this until I think I have something that is fairly nice.
Can you just make one side and then just split it?
I could also do that, but this was just a fast way of doing it. Okay. So the result of this is that I just have one polygon here. Go object. Okay. Drag it out here so you can see that this is just one plane. And if I then go and extrude this, there you go. There we get a little bit of depth. And this time I'll try to do it without all of the bridge thing, so I'll just delete the backside. There. Grab the front, extrude again, do a little bit of an offset in. Actually, now I forgot something. Sorry. Need to have the back on here. So I'll just grab this and do a duplicate of this. Just put that out here. Because this one needs to go into the wall, right? I need to subtract that from the wall. So I just grab wall, shift select this one, go mesh, booleans, difference. Ooh, and then we get something weird. And why is that? The thing is that the way I built this, it's probably inside out, but we can't see it because it has both front and back faces on. With this selected, if I go to the display menu, polygons, there's something called face normals. If I turn this on, you can, well, you can't see anything, and that's the problem. Because if I just turn wires on, you can see there's these small lines, and they tell me what is the front of this model. So it's actually inside out. I can also show it a different way. If I go to my polygon shape, I can just go to render stats. That's where we turn off the primary visibility as well, and turn off double-sided. If we look at it shaded, you can see that it's inside out. It's weird. So the easy way to fix this is just select the object and go normals, reverse, there, and now it's pointing in the right direction. Okay, so I move it into the wall again, like so. Select the wall, shift select the window, and then go mesh, boolean, difference. You don't need to check with the normals and everything like I did. When something like that happens, you just need to select the object and go normals reverse, then that will fix it. So that gave me a rounded window, and then I can just finish this one, go face, grab that one, do an extrude on that, set it a little bit, then do another extrude, moving this in, so, and then I can just move this into the hole, so, I could scale this up just a little bit to make sure that there's no gap between. So we get this, and I just need to get rid of the back side here. There you go. And that back side there. So that's another way to create a window. Let's do a third window, just for fun. So if I just move this over here. The final way to do it is go to the front view, and then I can use curves. So for instance, I can go and create a CV curve, or I can actually use an arc tool. But I'll just use CV curves here. And if I do that, I can use a pencil curve as well. Should we do that? I'll just use a CV curve. A CV curve is a rather nice way of drawing curves. So you just place points, and when you place the fourth one, it'll start to create a curve. It's because this is a cubic degree 3 NURBS curve, so it takes 4 points to create a piece of curve, and it takes 3 points to create a sharp edge. So I'll just add some points here, there, and then press enter. You can see I leave it with a gap, and to close it I go to my curves menu and go open close curves, and it will close the gap. Then I can right click and go control vertex, and then I can drag these around. So if I want a sharp edge down here, I need to place 3 points on top of each other. So you can see as 3 points get really close, we get closer to something that is a sharp corner. We do the same thing over here. There, there, there. And I can just place this to probably be around there. It's good. And then I can do the rounding at the top, which will be, actually have too many points here. I'll just get rid of a couple of them. There we go. You can see this way I can fairly easy make a rounded structure that is perhaps a little off to one side. Right click object mode, and if I go to perspective, this is just a line exactly like the text you saw the other day. And then I can create a polygon from this. I can just go and go surface extrude options and make this a distance, and tell it I want to output this as a polygon. And then usually I would just set this at control points at the bottom. So when I extrude, I get this very nice thing. And then I can just work with this, move it into this issue. Alternatively, instead of using control points, I can use a different way. So I go surfaces, extrude options, set this to distance, polygons, and then set this to general, for instance. And if I then set that to quartz, it will create a quite interesting piece of geometry. And to make this even more fun, I can make this, it is there, I can make this sample nicely. I could also change this to count, something like that. So it creates a surface from the NURBS curve. So if I grab my NURBS curve now and go control vertex, are they there? Can't see them. I did something. There we go. And go control vertex. You can see that when I do this, it will actually update the surface. So you can see my surface changes shape when I do this. So you can use this as a template, perhaps not so much for this window, but for something else where you need to be able to tweak things, or you could even animate this to create some weird thing. Okay, so that's another way to do it. And then of course what I do is double click one edge, extrude this in a little bit. What happened there? That was wrong. Let's go. Ooh, this is weird. Ooh, this is weird. Extrude this in, and then do the same thing here. So that would be a really weird window, but it could work. Okay. But first of all, create a wall, apply a texture to it, then create a cube or a shape, and then subtract that with difference, and then create an outline to create a panel. So that's the first thing we'll do for the house. Try to create one panel for one of the walls, and then after that we'll look at how to make multiple of these and attach them together to create a whole house. Okay.